How's it going? This is Rogue. Wanted to give like a little bit of an updated video, just talking about some basic stuff for new returning players or just generally people who are a bit lost in the game. I put out a very similar one to this as the first video that I made. I want to say like a month or two ago, but yeah, this is just a little bit of an updated version for Final Shape. So just to get started off here, this screen, you can see all of your characters. Very simple, just getting right into it. This is what you see as soon as you log on. Now, if you've completed the campaign and you're done with it, your character should look like my warlock and my hunter here. Not like the the drip or anything, but like there won't be this icon. If you have this character boost option, this is essentially a payable option to skip the campaign. It'll give you all of the unlocks except for the ones that come after the campaign. So, like for example, if I want to do this, it's 20 bucks, which silver is in-game paid currency. So you can do that. Um, Legacy, this button up here, just a nice little view of your whole journey through Destiny if you ever wanted to go look through that. So, like for example, um, in Destiny 1, the first game, this shows that I completed this uh, very first storyline in 2016. Um, this button here, this will take you directly to the patch notes for uh, Bungie.net, so it'll go straight to their like their news article page, so you can find out all the latest information about the game straight from the developers. In case it does matter to you, this little icon here means your cross saves. So like you're playing on, like all of your information is being linked between both console and PC, or Mac, Epic Games, what have you. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm just gonna load up on my Warlock here. So as you boot up here, you'll be in orbit. This is just default setting. You'll notice that there are a couple different options down here, and just those are some things that you can mess around with. Particularly the main ones that you'll use are Vault in the menu, um, as well as the director here. So just going over it very briefly, your Vault, this is where you can just store weapons and armor. So once you earn something, you can throw it in here. It'll be in here for you to just take out, because you can only have so many things on your character. Um, Game options, you can mess around with that. It's really just whatever would make you most comfortable with the game. Now, when you're playing with other people, they'll all show up in this area here. So, for example, since I'm the only person in my lobby right now, I'm the only one showing up here. Um, we'll get into like all the numbers and everything, except for this one. This is just my frames. Um, but yeah, there's this game. Disclaimer, does have a ton of pop-ups, especially if you are getting into it for the first time or returning. So it can be a bit overwhelming. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. You can exit out or read them. It's up to you, but you likely will have a ton of different things telling you about the new mechanics, new subclasses, trying to get you to buy different things. Again, if don't worry about it. Like there's going to be a lot, but if you just take it slowly, or just exit through, just hitting escape over and over again, or mashing the A button, you'll be fine. So just very briefly, go into the director. So this is where you're going to be able to do all of your activities and access the different things in the game. So destinations, this is where you're going to primarily see like all the different areas of the game that you can go to. So there's a couple different types of activities. There's some social spaces, like the tower. This is where you go to like see in-game vendors to buy different items. You can like interact with some other people who might also be in that lobby, do different things, just run around, have a good time. All of these different world destinations are patrol zones. So like areas where you can go, run around. Sometimes there are secrets or things that are there. Um, so like if I load up this one, Neomuna, you'll see that there are different options for things that you can do. Now, if you just like select this thing, for example, it'll place a waypoint. It won't just load you right into that. If you are trying to like go to something on a destination, you have to find one of these icons here, a landing zone. So you can just hit that. Don't worry about the difficulty level on patrol zones. You can just launch straight into it. There should be a couple throughout each of the different areas. Now, these things are strikes, this icon. We'll get into that a little bit later. Um, those are kind of like missions that you do with a small group of people. Again, in patrol zones, you'll see other people there. You can interact with them. You can try to do different things together, goal-oriented objectives, that sort of thing, like public events. But if you are doing like a mission-specific thing, you're just going to be with the people in your lobby. So the people who are like their names show up here. Now, getting back into things, if you see this icon, this like little upside down U with a dot, this is a lost sector. So this is like just a small little area that you can do. This one in particular is a rotating, more difficult one that you can do. So like you can see here, if solo, you get bonus loot. Something newer that they added is a difficulty level. So I guess just a gauge of what it's gonna look like. You might have seen a shining like diamond right here. That is a public event. You can track where those are. Yeah, each of these destinations will have different missions and objectives that you can do. They're all very unique. Some have different vendors or like people that you can talk to. Not real people, but like NPCs. Now, on each or most destinations, you'll see raids and dungeons. This is like the end game content. This is like once you complete stories, you get to a comfortable level with the game, or if you want to just dive straight into it, this is like, for lack of a better term, peak Destiny. So raids are very mechanic heavy and really like tests what you can do with a group of 6 people. Now it doesn't matchmake for you. So if you'll already have to be in a lobby to do this, they're all very fun, different varying levels of challenge. There's, I believe, one in each of the planets, and then there's also dungeons, very similar to raids, except there's 3-person activities. All right. Ritual activities now. These are like you load in, you like you do a match or whatever, you get some loot, you get out. Usually they take like 10 minutes. Vanguard, Gambit, Crucible. So Vanguard here is strikes, like what I mentioned before. These are missions that you get to do with other people. So the most common one you're going to do is this one right in the middle. You can see you can load in here fireteam 1 to 3 people. It will matchmake, so like if you're loading in by yourself, the game will find 2 other people for you. Nightfalls, however, are like more difficult ones. They rotate which one it is weekly. You get better rewards, but it is more challenging. Again, like if you look at this, you can see here challenges. If you complete like a certain number of ritual activities, then you get a tailored reward for doing that. Onslaught, it's not exactly a strike. This came out towards the end of the last expansion. It's like a wave-based defensive game mode. It is fun. Some really good gear comes from this. Grandmaster Nightfalls, strike, but it is like the highest difficulty in the game. You won't find anything with enemies that hit harder or um, this is geared to be the most challenging thing in the game. Now with strikes, there is this option called Pathfinder here. The game used to have bounties that you would pick up, but this is the system that they're using now. So with the Pathfinder system, it has all these different objectives. Once you complete one, it gives you some XP. You claim it here, and then it'll unlock like the next tier. And the cool thing about it is that you can complete like later on tiers, like before you unlock the first ones. So like if you just happen to be playing, you like for example, I've done this. It's ready to be claimed, but I have to unlock a path to get to it. So like first I would have to do this one, then this one to get to this one, or any of these lines to get it. At the end of it, you do get all of these rewards, and you can reset it, I believe, an infinite number of times a week. I think your rewards do get a little bit less each time you do complete a path, but it's still pretty worth it. Okay, Gambit here. This is a mixture of PvE and PvP. It's been kind of neglected. It's still decently fun. You can try it out, see if you like it. Not going to get too deep into it. Crucible, this is PvP. Variety of different modes here. Now, Trials of Osiris, this is like the very competitive version of it. It's a 3v3 game mode with a rotating map and reward weapon each week. Would definitely recommend at least having some skill in PvP before trying this out. Sometimes it does have like pretty good worth it rewards that are worth going for. And if you get 7 wins in a row without losing, you unlock the lighthouse here. Now you can access the Pathfinder from all the different ritual tabs, but you have to be inside of it. So you can see this icon down here. These are your ranks with each ritual activity that you see. Each time you rank up, you get a reward at that vendor, which is in the tower. Pale Heart, this is the newest destination, so you're going to be doing a lot of the stuff here for this DLC. Once you complete the campaign, you'll be able to do a bunch of different activities here. Exotic missions. This is a specific Pathfinder for the Pale Heart. So all of this stuff only activates in the Pale Heart. It works the same way as the other ones, except it is specific to this. Again, raid here as well. That's the final raid. Helm, this is another quote-unquote social space. You can't meet other people here, but it is where you can go to like talk to seasonal vendors. Now, getting more into the menu option of this, there's a lot of different stuff in this game. Don't worry about it. We'll go over majority of the stuff that I remember to go over for this. So, this is your character. With your character, you get a subclass, 3 weapons, and your armor. So your subclass, this is like your abilities that you get. There's a bunch of different subclasses that you get to use. This one, Prismatic, is the newest one that came out with Final Shape. It's like a mixture of all the other subclasses. And it's also a little bit different. So like some of the fragments here just say like while you're using Arc Solar Void buffs, what have you, Darkness, Transcendence Energy. This is very, I want to say a little bit more geared towards like the mid to high end difficulty of understanding, simply because it's a mixture of everything. Your ordinary subclasses, which you have here, you have light and dark ones. What I mean by that is like some are given to you by like a source of light slash, for lack of a better word, good, and darkness, for lack of a better word, bad, just for for simplicity's sake. So your guardian has managed to mix the good and bad and mastered both sources of power. So solar here, this is like your fire, um, lots of healing and stuff, movement, explosions, that sort of thing. Um, arc, again, doing stuff fast. This is like electricity. Stasis, ice, freezing things. Strand, this is a bit of a more complex one. This is like you're weaving things. So like you're creating matter with this one. Void, you're doing stuff with energy. Um, I do have more detailed stuff for each subclass in other videos, so I won't really get into that. Generally speaking, though, with each subclass, you'll have supers. These are like your ultimate abilities. Um, you can hover over them, see what they do, try them out for yourself. Each of them do have a cooldown that varies for each one. So like over here, you can see 7:35 in the middle of the screen. That means, after 7 minutes 35 seconds of just waiting, you get it. Granted, you can do other things to get your super and stuff faster with your builds. You, by all means, can get into that, but for simplicity's sake, just that is like the base time for it. Each class has their own ability, so warlocks have rifts and a dive that they throw down. Hunters have a dodge, and titans have a barricade. Your jump, a melee ability, and a grenade ability. These are all, I don't want to say the same across all three classes, but like each class has their own grenades, melees, and jumps and abilities. Aspects are broad customization options per your subclass. And with each aspect, they unlock the ability to have fragments. So an aspect, as you can see here, it has like 2 of the 3 little boxes filled in or lit up. That unlocks that many fragments that you can use. Now, fragments are like specific gameplay changes, buffs, what have you. These things like do different things for your character based on your subclass, and they're very specific. So like if you're trying to use more grenades more often, you might try to find a combination of fragments that work really well with getting grenade energy. Now getting more into weapons, you have kinetic, energy, and power weapons. So kinetic weapons, these do generally more damage against unshielded combatants. Now there's going to be 2 types of kinetic weapons. There's primary and special. Primary weapons have infinite ammo. You do have to reload them when the magazine runs out, but you won't run out of reserves. So you can keep using them. Generally, primary weapons, they don't do a whole lot of damage, but they're reliable. Special weapons do a little bit more damage. They do not have infinite ammo, so you'll have to find them using green bricks. As you can see here, there's like a green indicator with 2 bullets in it that says special. That means that whenever you see a green brick on the ground, you run over it, it'll give you special ammo. So with that, in your kinetic weapon slot, if you do not see any indicator at like before this like 1976, that means this does like normal type damage. If you see like that blue near here, that means this does stasis damage. This does strand. In kinetic slot, you can see those 3 options: strand, stasis, and kinetic. Generally speaking, if something has a energy type, it's better against that kind of shield, or just shields in general. So like if an enemy has a stasis shield and I hit them with this shotgun, it'll do more damage against that shield. You can try out what different kinds of weapons you like and figure out what is best for your playstyle. Now, energy weapons here, these are going to be your arc, solar, and void weapons. The same two types, so primary ammo and special ammo that you can see when hovering next to the weapon. And these are typically what you're going to use against like shielded combatants. You can use them against unshielded ones too. Some are really good at clearing ads and like the unshielded ones. If you want to find out more about a weapon, you can hit whatever your details button is. As you can see, like if you look towards the middle of the screen at the bottom of this little pop-up, I can inspect this weapon. You can see all the different perks it has. So each one will have a type of barrel, a type of magazine, and then 2 perks. So each of these perks on majority of weapons are random, unless the weapon is crafted or like you make it. So this origin trait here, this is unique to the kind of weapon. This is like whoever made the weapon in game gave it this bonus damage. So like all of this kind of weapon get this origin trait. You can put a type of mod on it, and then a masterwork. This is like a bonus stat. So for example, this reload speed bonus stat gives this weapon a little bit more reload speed. And each of these are unique to the weapon. You can mess around with like trying to get a specific role you want, figuring out what perks you like, what perks work well together, and whatnot as you play the game. Now, there are different rarities for weapons. So, as you can see here, this is a yellow weapon, this is exotic, and this is a legendary, a purple weapon. You can have as many green, purple, and blue weapons on as you like. Purple legendary weapons are typically like the best tier of weapon you can get in the game. Exotic weapons are unique weapons. They're powerful, they have like a special ability that they use. So like the shotgun, for example, it's exotic. The first shot of it freezes an enemy, and the second shot ignites the enemy, or like it blows them up. So you can only have one exotic weapon equipped at a time. As you can see here in this slot, I can interchange these. I cannot put on one of these energy exotic weapons, but I can swap out the purples that I have on. Now, power weapons, they have the same energy types as your kinetic ones, so strand, stasis, and kinetic. These are going to be your hard-hitting weapons. You don't have a lot of ammo for them, but they do the most damage. These are going to be like your grenade launchers, your rocket launchers, swords, machine guns, that sort of thing. This is what you'll be using during like a damage phase on a boss. Your ghost, this essentially just gives you like small little bonuses to a variety of different things. So like you can figure out what kinds of things you want to put on it, whether you're trying to get resources or you want your armor to get a specific way, if you want more experience. Alright, finishing up this left side column with the artifact. This changes every season. These are just bonus perks that you can give your character. You can mess around with them. You can only have a certain number of them. 12 is the max, as you can see here. And if you want to like change them out, you can do that. I'm not sure why I'm getting the subclass progress, but that was odd. Anyways, yeah, if you want to just totally reset your artifact, you can hit this reset artifact down at the bottom here. Now, getting over to the right side, the armor, same idea as the weapon rarities. I talked about the exotic and legendary. Same with armor. You have exotic armor, which is like rare, does a specific thing for your character. You can only have one of them, so I can't put on this exotic armor. I can, however, interchange these purple ones. Now, if you preview um, a armor piece. So similarly to interacting with one of the weapons, seeing what you have on it, you can put a lot of different perks on here. Generally speaking, with build crafting, you want to find something that has synergy. So, like, for example, if I'm using solar, I want to try to use a lot of stuff that have solar simply because it's cost effective. That's getting more into build crafting, which I won't get too terribly into right now, but that's just a general idea of it. Also, if you go down, so at the bottom here, you can like hit whatever this button is for your up or down, or you can click on it. You can do cosmetics, so like you can change your appearance with it. Now, getting into some of the more intensive stuff, specifically with numbers. This number is important. This is your power. This is like how strong your character is. The bigger this number, the more activities you can do, and essentially like the stronger you are. So you start off, if you're just brand new, you're at 1900. At the very beginning of Destiny 2, the power was 0. It's just, for this expansion, you're at 1900. This number is a mean, or like an average, of all of your weapons. So like each of these weapons have a number. As you can see, like 1976, 1993, 74, as well as your armor. So it's the more that you level up each of your armor pieces and your weapons, the bigger your power overall. Now, with your armor, it has a lot of other numbers, as you can see here, like mobility, resilience, recovery, and all that. These are like some more individual stats for your character. You can view them all here. Between all of your armor pieces, it sums them together. So, like, my 4 mobility here is added to the 4 mobility, to the 2, to the 4. Plus 2 from this gives me 26. As well as anything on here, like your fragments give you. So, like, this gives me an additional 10 strength. Each of these is a different bonus stat that your character gets. So, like, mobility, this is how fast your character moves. Essentially, the bigger this number, the faster your character. Resilience, more damage you can take before you die. So the bigger this one is, more damage you can take before you die. Your healing, your grenade, your super, and your melee. Now, I say the bigger the number is, while that is true, it goes in increments of 10. So right now, my resilience is 100. 100's the max. When first getting into the game, definitely just I would not worry about these at all. If you are worried about them, resilience would be the biggest one, simply because it means you can get hit a few more times before you die. It's a bit overwhelming, but this is more of like a when you get into build crafting, then you can worry about it. That is a majority of the stuff here. This is a clan banner. This is for when you join a clan, you get just bonus perks. So you don't really need to worry about this. Okay. The last thing on this page, champions. There are 3 champions in the game, which is like a higher difficulty enemy. There's barriers, unstoppables, and overloads. They require a specific kind of weapon that is detailed in the artifact here to stun. So like, for example, a barrier, it puts up a shield. If you have a submachine gun or a pulse rifle on, you can break that shield. But if you have a grenade launcher on, for example, that will not break the shield. You can go into the artifact here, figure out which ones work. You have to have it selected though for it to be active. So like, I do not have the unstoppable scout on. So my scout rifles will not stun unstoppable champions. Now, if I go down, this is more just cosmetic stuff. An emblem, which appears up here on the top of the screen. This is a vehicle that you can use to get around, a ship that appears in the orbit, your overall appearance, finishers. This is something that you can do when an enemy gets to low health. You can walk up to them and essentially just do a stylish way of killing them. And then emotes. You can have 4 emotes equipped at a time, and then you can like interchange them here. Now, with all that out of the way, gonna get onto the journey tab. So this did change from Lightfall to Final Shape. Commendations, at the end of an activity, you are able to like commend people. So they essentially say, hey, this person did really good in this aspect of the activity. Or you could be like, you know what, I have this thing that I can give out, so I'm just going to give you Joybringer, I'm going to give you Patient Considerate, I'm going to give you Heroic. As you try to progress through the game, some things will require a higher score. Titles, this is just essentially like bonus objectives for each activity that you can flex off. So like, for example, for this dungeon, Ghosts of the Deep here, I've completed everything in here, so I can equip the title of Ghoul to just essentially flex off, say, hey, I did this. If something is lit up or gold, that means that you have that title. And if it's not lit up, that means you have not yet done it. There's still things that you can do, and it tracks what you still have to do to get that title. Triumphs, this is every bonus objective that you can get or like do in the game. You can try to figure out what you want to do, what things you still have to do for the activities you're trying to go for. Seasonal challenges, this stuff changes weekly. Just, fun little challenges that give you more experience when you claim them. So like week 1, you could do any of these things for some more experience. Week 2, you can do all this. At the end of a season, if you have this many challenges done, you get Bright Dust as a reward. Now, moving on to Guardian ranks. This is like the game's progression system. So, when you first start off, you're at New Light. It says, hey, welcome to the game. Level 2, so like after you rank up, it's like okay, I've completed the first quest. There are 11 of these different things that you can do, each with unique challenges to them. And you do have to renew some challenges each season. Basically, the higher someone's number next to their name, generally the more experienced player they are. So like, for example, to be a rank 7, you have to complete all of these different challenges. Then you'll be able to rank yourself up to level 8. Then you can do these challenges, rank yourself up to level 9. Pretty straightforward. You can also track which challenges of these you want to focus on. Collections page now, it has a recently discovered tab, so like everything that you've most recently gotten will show up here. You can scroll over, see some of the other things, but it doesn't go on forever. Patterns, catalysts, these are the weapons that you can craft yourself to have whatever perks you want. So you can do like primary weapons, special, and heavy. Exotic catalysts, for the exotic yellow weapons, there is a bonus perk that they can drop and you can earn, which essentially gives them, that bonus perk once you do this objective for it. Going on to each of these tabs here, you do not really need to worry about medals, lore, or stat trackers. This is more just something to play around with for yourself, see where you are, whether it's in a season or what have you. Exotic, this shows you all exotic weapons per type. armor per character, and then your ornaments. Ornaments are just cosmetic stuff that you can get from the in-game store. Weapons, these are going to be where you find like the purple and the blue and the green things. Some weapons also have ornaments. Armor, same thing as the previous weapons tab. Now with some things, if they have a set roll, so like this origin story, you can reacquire it for this cost. So like 3,000 glimmer and 1 enhancement core. If something had a random roll, it'll say cannot reacquire randomized gear. You'll have to go out and actually earn that weapon in in the wild, for lack of a better term. You can go through and like look at each of these different tabs. Flare equipment, these two are more just cosmetic things. Resources, I don't really know why this tab exists. If you do click on it, you can find out what like glimmer and bright dust are. I'll describe each of these things when we get to the inventory. Clan, this is like a group of people that you've joined, and it's just an easier way to play with other people. So like for example, all of these people are in the same clan as me. Some activities in the game require that you do things with a clan. You get bonus rewards and stuff. There are a ton of different clans in Destiny, and you can also create your own. Now, moving over here to the inventory. There are 2 different tabs here, modifications and consumables. You're primarily going to be just focused on the consumables page. First and foremost, looking over here in the top right area, glimmer, silver, and bright dust are your currencies in the game. You can think of glimmer like your in-game money. You get this from defeating enemies. It drops out in the game, and then you use this for pretty much everything. Silver is an item that you pay real money for. So like from the Steam store, from the Xbox or PlayStation store, you can get this so that you can buy in-game cosmetics. Bright dust has a similar use to silver, except you earn bright dust by doing challenges in-game. Engrams, these things drop throughout the world, or from completing activities, and then you can decode them into weapons and armor. You can only have on you 10 at a time, but they are tailored to your character. So like on my Warlock, I have 9 out of 10, but on my Hunter, I believe I have like 5 out of 10 filled up. Now, getting into consumables, you're going to get a ton of different things that you can look at. The most important ones are going to be your enhancement cores here. If you hover over it, you can see exactly what it does. Enhancement cores and glimmer are going to be 2 of the most important currencies in the game, so primarily I'd focus on that stuff, as well as upgrade modules. Now, upgrade modules are used to increase your power level, which we talked about earlier. So if I look at this submachine gun here, I want to make its power bigger. I can go over to this button, infuse. Anything that has a bigger base power than my Osteostriga, I can infuse to essentially consume this item down here and give my submachine gun that number. So like if I infuse this grenade launcher here, it would this would be destroyed, so you wouldn't have it anymore, and this number would now be 1993. You'll get a ton of loot, don't worry about it. There will be stuff that you'll just be like, I don't need this, or I don't want this. So it's not like you're gonna need to save everything. You do need upgrade modules to do that whole system. Other than that, majority of this other stuff, very niche things for different activities in the game. You can figure them out as you play. You can see that I've got a bunch of raid banners. You'll eventually do this when you get to raids and stuff. Big focus on this page: Glimmer, enhancement cores, upgrade modules for beginning players. For mid to high tier players, prisms, ascendant shards or golf balls, alloys or orange golf balls, ciphers, as well as raid banners. That should be the big takeaway from there. This page, I never really go to this page. You will probably never have to go here. This is where you'll see modifications. You can buy these if you don't already have them from, I believe, the gunsmith in the tower. Now going on over to the settings, there's a ton of different options for you to do. You can mess around with whatever makes you most comfortable in the game. You'll see a bunch of people saying like, oh, this is the best setting. You can just do whatever you want. It's a video game. Granted, there are things that are like more optimal, but I would not stress over this too terribly much. Only things I would focus on, really just making sure that hitting every button is comfortable for you. Another thing that might be useful is push to talk. This is talking to people in game, as well as social. You can turn push to talk on. So like, for example, I would have to push my T button in order to talk to people in game, or you can turn it off so that now I am talking to everyone in my lobby, regardless of whether I hit my push to talk button. Yeah, the majority of this other stuff is just things that you can mess around with yourself. This gameplay tab, if you want to change your character ever or exit to desktop, you can do that here. Yeah, that's generally just a basic intro to Destiny. I know that that was a lot of explaining, but I do hope that this was helpful and that everyone who's new, returning, or just trying to learn something or bored scrolling on the toilet is happy with that. If you've got any questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to respond to anyone in the comments or make follow-up videos if enough people want to see that. So yeah, have a great day.